Hello, Sagittarians. This is Karen, the Forest Empress, and I am here with your reading for the first 2 weeks of June 2017. I've already pulled your spread for you, and at the end we will pull a Power Animal Oracle card and tie everything together. So what we actually have at the bottom of the deck is the underlying energy, and you got the Eight of Pentacles as your underlying energy. So this says that you could have been working hard on something lately, especially as we're going in to June from May. So you've been working very hard on something. You've been giving your best effort on something, and it could be in a relationship or it could be in work. But overall, when I look at your entire reading, I notice that we have all minor arcana. So we don't have any major arcana cards here. And so what that says to me is that you have complete control over the situation. There's some kind of decision to be made, and you just need as much information in order to make the best decision. So let's start looking at the cards here. The first card is the past and the influence that the past has on this reading. You got the King of Swords in reverse. So there could have been, as you went from May into June, there could have been a disconnect somewhere, and it's possibly a disconnect in communication. It could be within a relationship, it could be within a business relationship, or just kind of in your job in general. But this communication is creating this disconnect, in communication is creating a blockage, and it's actually forming this kind of barrier, and it's preventing you from further connecting with others. So your judgment in this situation, if this be in a relationship or in a work, it could be impaired in some way. But don't let the intellect of the situation prevent you from getting closer to it be the person or to the business partner or whoever. Because when this guy shows up, he's very strongly spoken, and he, when he's upright, he is very good at communication, but when he's reversed, there is that disconnect there. So you could have been feeling that way in some arena as we went from May into June. Now, the obstacle that is in your path in the first 2 weeks of June, we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. So the advice here is just to value what you have, but do not let it control you. So it could be in a relationship. Maybe you have this person in this relationship, but you don't really need to let them be controlling you. And Sagittarians don't really like to be held down in general. They like to have their freedom, their independence, and they're very spontaneous. And so that could have been something that was hard for you to deal with. If this is a relationship, you should be fighting to protect this relationship so long as it is promoting your personal growth, and whether that be just personal in general, your spiritual growth, your growth in how you communicate, just kind of any of those aspects. You need to make sure that that relationship is nurturing those things. If it is not, it needs to be looked at further and in more depth. Don't try to recapture what has already gone. And this guy's holding on very tightly to his money, and it can be easy to kind of be stingy with our love in the same way that you can be stingy with money. But just remember, what you are putting out there, you are getting back. And that applies to money too. You have heard that term, you have to spend money to make money. The generosity that you put out into the universe is the generosity that is going to be returned to you. So whether that be with love, affection, money, things like that, resources. So just kind of remember that, and that's an obstacle. So that's something that you can overcome. There's nothing here that is really set in stone or fated. You have a lot of control over the situation. And so, yeah, you don't need to be letting people control you right now, because you have plenty of it on your own. You don't need people bossing you around. Now, the influence that you have working in your favor, you have the Nine of Wands upright. So as long as you are following through on what you say you're going to do, if it's a relationship and you say, I'm not going to put up with this anymore, but then you continue to put up with it, you are not following through. You need to make sure that you are doing that if you want things to, that barrier to be broken down and things to move forward. There could be some kind of physical challenge in your future. This is a random way to read the card, but you know, you might want to be prepared for that in the event it happens. Hopefully it's not like a zombie apocalypse or something like that where we all need to be super fit to run away from them or something. Hopefully it's not that, but you know, there could be something that requires you to be a little more physical, you know, and maybe you have been working on it, and then this could be an influence working in your favor. Maybe like your work is going to do like a run or some obstacle course or something like that. I don't know. Do they do that? But it could end up working in your favor if you are staying physically fit and as healthy as possible. There could be an opportunity for that, the fact that you're healthy, to pay off. Now, the advice here with this card, as it is in the influence sector, is that you should not be spending time around negative people, toxic people. You've had multiple cards, that some of which we'll get to in a minute, that are saying that you really cannot be around toxic people right now because they are having an influence on you, whether you are allowing it or whether you are subconsciously allowing it. It is. And so you need to not be around those people. And even if you have to be a little blunt and say, you know, I can't hang out because, you know, just the energy vampire people, you know who they are in your life. When you hang out with them, you just feel drained. You don't feel happy. You feel like you need to go have a drink or something after, or go have a nap. So you want to kind of stay away from those people during this time. But the really positive thing with this card is that this card is saying that you have so much more strength within you than you actually realize. And this is going to be an influence working in your favor, whether that is physical strength, whether that is emotional, mental strength, all of those things. It is going to pay off for you. Especially with the underlying energy being that you're working really hard on something and you're giving your best effort towards something. This is saying that that is going to pay off. Now, in the near future, we have the Knight of Wands. This card kind of says, you know, just be careful. Don't make a move that you'll regret later. You really need to be thinking things through right now. Somebody could be trying to hold you back in some way, but you need to remember that you need to go your own way in this situation. You need to go and do what is right for you. Don't look to other people's successes as an example for how yours is going to be, because it is going to come about in a completely different way that is perfectly suited for you and just you. So it can be very disheartening to, especially when you look on social media and you don't really see much of kind of the harder things that are going on in people's lives. You see all the accomplishments and accolades and success, and it can be hard to see when you're on your own path towards that, but maybe not quite there yet. And so maybe if you need to take a break from social media, that could be, you know, not being around toxic people. Maybe just, if it is hurting your feelings to see other people kind of rejoicing, and you know, people do exaggerate too, like it, you know, on social media too, people do want to make it seem a lot more extravagant or beautiful than it actually is. And so if it bothers you to see that, then don't look at it, and then just focus on your own success. Put your nose to the grindstone, keep doing it. You're working really hard. You know, you have a lot of positive things and a lot of control over this situation. I can't stress that enough. Now, in the long-term future, you actually have the Queen of Wands. You do need to be asserting yourself in some way with someone or something, whether it be in work, in a relationship. If somebody is making you angry, you need to be taking that anger and using it more as a tool and not as a weapon. Use it to your advantage. Turn that anger towards something ambitious, like a new creative endeavor or venture. You know, do something that inspires you. Go towards your passion and use that built up anger, energy, or whatever to create something really positive out of it. And that is actually the best way to use anger if something is bothering you. Use your emotions to, again, inspire you. And this woman also, the Queen of Wands, is very well connected. So this could be a message also that you could look to, if you feel like you're stuck in some way, look to the connections that you have to get to the connections that you want. So I just said, stay off social media. Maybe you don't want to stay off social media because maybe there is a way for you to move forward with whatever you're doing by these connections that we have been able to make in this day and age that we live in. So that is really at your discretion. But like I said, you have a lot of control over everything. So And, you know, your judgment here is actually showing up as being very important too. So it's at your discretion if you want to get off social media or not. You might not want to, you don't have to, but if it really bothers you, if it's throwing off your groove, then take a break, maybe, is what the advice is here. Now, where am I? Now, the eventual outcome, we have the Eight of Swords in reverse. There could be an indecision here. So maybe maybe you haven't made a decision by the end of the second week of June, and that's okay. You need to be gathering all the proper information. So maybe you don't have that, but as you get into that second week of June, you will start to see a little more clearly. This card, because this woman is blindfolded and bound, this is stressing that before you can make this decision, you do need to gather as much information as possible, but you need to see the truth to make the proper decision. And that's what this is really saying. And then this card also is another way of saying toxic people are negatively going to influence your decisions, so stay away from those people if you have to. So you know who those people are in your life, unfortunately. Now, let's pick a power animal oracle card and see what animal we have that is going to inspire us through, you know, this situation that you're going through here, that you have all this control over. Turtle, retreat. Stop trying to make something happen. It's saying that it's maybe not the right timing. You need to let whatever is happening happen in the time that it is meant to happen. But in the meantime, just continue to work as diligently, do your very best, gather all your information, don't let negative people influence you, and that is the advice here for these first 2 weeks of June. Thank you so much for watching, Sagittarians. I hope you have a beautiful first 2 weeks of June. If you enjoy this video, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate that. And I really look forward to seeing you in the second half of June to see how this is all gonna pan out. Take care, bye.